Rafi.
Homesick at home.
Have you ever felt that way?
Shot City.
I'm coming home again.
Good evening. Hello, dear listeners of Radio Van. This is our English-speaking show, which is on air every Friday from 9 to 10. And we're here in our studio with Rafi.
And the lovely Ina MK. and
just
Rafi and the lovely Ina MK.
Yeah.
This is new for us. Normally we have a guest here, and I'm still hopeful that she will come. Yeah,
She's on her way. She's on her way.
All right, good.
But for now, we're just the two of us. We can make it
if we try. And we're gonna try really hard for you guys.
Well, I'd like to remind you that you can watch and listen to us live on www.radiovan.am, not FM, because our website is now under constructions. We have kind of flipped it to AM. No,
I didn't even know things happened on the AM frequency.
And also you can watch us live on our Radio Van page. We're having a live video broadcasting. Today is 247 days before New Year, Rafi.
Right. Have you already made your New Year's resolution? Do you have any idea what you're going to be doing?
No, not yet.
I haven't made plans. I'm still available if anybody wants to let me know what's going on.
You know how things happen in Armenia. Nothing. You don't do anything like 6 months ahead.
Exactly. Not even till that day probably will you know what you're up to.
So what have you been doing for this past week?
This past week, let me see. I've been doing my normal stuff, and then I also just been doing some commercials. Actually, I've been doing some acting in some commercials.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You've become a modeling star, I think.
I think a star is a very nice way of saying it. I don't know if I'm quite a star yet.
A rising star.
Right. I'm just like I don't know, nebulous gas right now, and I'm not quite a star yet, but I will be one day, I think.
Okay, and soon I will be collecting autographs from you.
You should do it soon. You do it now.
Okay. Well, later it will be like a trouble to get it from you.
We'll see. We'll talk then.
Okay, and actually, what I've been doing for the past.
Sorry. Okay, enough about
me.
Thank
you. Yeah, thank you.
What have you been up to?
I know you're not interested, but I will tell you still. For the past 6 days, I have been doing interpreting for an Indian delegation.
Wow, very interesting.
Who came here along with their vice president, who came here with an official visit to Armenia. And by the way, I wasn't alone there. Our guest is finally in our studio, dear listeners. Yeah, hello.
Our guest slipped in. We're good.
Yeah. So that's how I met Sona. Good evening, Sona.
Good evening. Should I next?
No, you just lean back.
Just talk normal.
Yeah.
It's a pretty powerful microphone. Just relax. Do whatever.
Yeah.
Just be careful.
Good evening.
If you sneeze.
This is Rafi, Sona, Rafi.
Nice to meet you, and really sorry for being late.
That's all right.
It's okay.
Give us a chance to get to know each other a little bit more. Share our stories.
How are you, Sona?
Great, and excited to be hosted here.
Did you have time to relax a little bit after our tiresome week?
I think you'll understand me. Like, I've spent the entire day just sleeping and lounging around, and that's it.
Yeah, that's what I did. I got up really late today.
I'm jealous. So. I'm really jealous, guys. Why did it just finish today? Or yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Our Indian guests left Armenia admired, impressed, with tears in their eyes. So I think this is the best result we could have.
Yeah. Actually, how was it? Were you guys with them the entire time, or just during like official meetings, kind of?
No, entire time almost, from morning till late night.
Really? So what was that like? What'd you guys do? Khorovats a lot?
I think we will have to. No khorovats. They don't eat pork. But I think we'll have time to talk about it a little later. Now we need to introduce a bit our guest. By the way, what's your last name?
Sahakyan.
Sona Sahakyan in our studio. A model, a tour guide, a person who is being an ambassador back in India and now back in Armenia, Sona. So, Sona, tell us a bit about you. Where were you born in Armenia?
Oh, yeah. First of all, thank you for that introduction. I didn't expect that. Yeah, I was born in Armenia, and after some time, and I think when I was 3 years old, we moved to Russia, and then we came back when I was like 6 to attend school in Armenia to get Armenian education.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was not destined for me, I guess, because later on when I was 10 years old, I got the opportunity of going to India and then getting the rest of my education over there.
Wow.
Wow.
How
Why
did you
India?
Yeah.
Why India? I don't know, actually. I think it was just a destiny, because I just wanted to really like learn English, to be very fluent in English, and that was like the first thing that I
And that's
heard.
why you went
So you,
to India.
chose, so you chose India to get fluent in
No,
English?
Actually, it's not like I had another option.
Right.
But it's the first thing that I heard. They said, there's a program, but you should be like, how to say, be prepared, because the entire education is gonna be in English.
Okay,
So those were like the key words. The entire education in English. The rest didn't matter to me, and I said I'm in for it.
Nice.
And yeah, and
So-
thanks to my parents, they sent me there.
Okay, we'll find out more about India, about Sona, and how she has connection to this country, and what things do Indian and Armenian people have in common. But we need to go for a little advertisement break. This is Homesick at Home on Radio Van 103.1, our English-speaking evening show. Stay tuned, and you can also listen to us on www.radiovan.am. Yes, we had a little break. We even had time to drink very fast coffee.
Well, it's poured. The coffee is made. I'll be drinking it as we talk.
Yeah.
here.
And yes, we're back in our studio with our guest Sona. Sona, so you were telling about how you moved to India, and how you decided, and tell us a bit about the whole experience you had in India. So what was different? What was your cultural shock there?
Yeah, what was life like in India?
Yeah, because I bet it's quite different from what we do here.
Well, you can imagine, like me, a child of 10, moving to India, not knowing exactly how many years I'm gonna stay there.
Did you go by yourself?
Yes, without parents. Actually, we had guardians. It was actually a church program.
Uh-huh.
So we had guardians.
Guardian angels.
Yeah, you could call them so. Moving there, and I had some health issues, especially like I'm allergic. So I moved there, and the heat, right when they opened the door of the plane, everything started from the air, boom, the air to your face. That was the
first
shock.
welcome.
Yeah,
Wow, man.
the first welcome I experienced. Because imagine, like, I went in January, and it was like winter in Armenia, and we had like really warm coats on, and we're going.
And you started undressing.
Yeah, we were
And
walking
that's how the
around
modeling
dressing.
career started. Yeah, like you just walk down the strip, just taking
Yeah.
clothes off.
And then I just imagine I needed a photographer over there, yeah, walking down and taking off all our clothes. Then the other shock was finding that we would have servants over there that would actually be called as servants. That was very unusual for me to have
Right.
a servant,
So what did they do? Did they make you like blowing?
Wait, what is
Not
that?
really.
To cool her down. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
to
like
cool
just
her
blow, instead of fanning with a giant palm leaf. All right.
Not really. I had seen a lot of movies, just like the other Armenians, and I had, when I learned that I'm gonna go to India, I had some time, so I would watch all the movies that I could, and I would imagine, I thought that I'm gonna live like in a castle that would be right in the jungle, and and like I would be walking with something like around like this. It could be maybe a tab. So just holding it and walking like that, and all the clothes and stuff or on my head.
How close was reality to your imagination?
I didn't do that, but yes, I did.
The
I didn't see
reality
others.
broke right after she had the warm air in her face.
Right.
Yeah, and also I thought I'm gonna see a lot of elephants and monkeys. I didn't. I saw a couple of them that would come to near our windows.
Yeah,
We would
really?
try. Sorry?
Really?
Yeah, really. But just a couple. You know, I stayed in Kolkata. So in Kolkata, I didn't see many of them. But in Delhi, they were like, you walk down the street, many monkeys. It's very common to see them.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and not even like Kolkata it's a city. It's like the central city of West Bengal. Like it's the state where Kolkata is located. And I didn't even see elephants. But yes, we did indeed go to school along with the sheep. Yeah, so you would have sheep just walking with us to school, and all that happening right in front of a hotel, which name was VIP. So walking in front of VIP
sheep.
hotel, yeah, with along with the sheep. Yeah.
Those were VIP sheep.
Yeah.
How did you decide to start modeling? When was this?
It all just happened by itself. We came back to Armenia.
So you didn't do any modeling in India?
No, I didn't, because there we were studying, and actually we were not allowed to work. And we came back to Armenia, and my sister got an offer to study, modeling. And then, and I was like very serious. I was very ambitious. I'm like, nothing for me. No photo shoots, nothing. I'm going to become a very high-rated lawyer. And this was like, it's going to spoil my career and stuff like that. Then once we went for photo shooting, and I was helping my sisters, trying to, dressing them or telling them how to pose. And the photographer told me, you should pose too. And I'm like, oh no, what are you talking about? No, I'm going to become a lawyer and stuff like that. I guess I was like 18 by then. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. Then there was, I think a year later, there was another photo shoot that I went. And he said, come on, let me just take a portrait of you. I said, well, okay. Then I went, I posed. When he made the photos, I fell in love with the photos, and I said, okay, that's it.
You fell in love with yourself?
I fell in love with the photos. I looked at them as a piece of art. So I didn't look at those pics as I would like earlier.
So you were Mona Lisa in your own eyes.
Yeah, I started seeing myself, yeah.
Sona, you know what I just did? I just did a selfie and sent it to our Indian group chat.
Oh.
So now everybody knows that you're on air with us tonight.
We have an Indian group chat?
Yeah, of course.
The delegation we were talking about,
Oh, yes,
yeah,
of
we're
course.
still in touch.
What about your parents, Sona? There is a stereotype in Armenia, like decent girls should not do modeling and things like this. Were your parents okay with this choice of yours?
Well, first of all,
Well, you weren't the first model, no?
Sorry?
Your sister was a model as well.
my
yeah?
sisters were models as well,
S-
and
sisters.
our models are.
So
Yes.
your whole entire family's beautiful. Is that what you're saying? Like they're all models?
First of all, I think my family is not the traditional type of family. So if it were like that, then I wouldn't end up in India when I was 10 years old,
Yeah.
all by myself without parents.
Right.
Let's start from that.
Yeah.
And later on, even like when we would come for vacations to Armenia, people would see us and they would tell us, they should go for modeling. They should go for modeling. My mom was also like, no, they should have like something serious and stuff like that. But when we actually got the invitation, she didn't resist. She said, if we feel that it is ours, then we could do that. And I'm really thankful to her, because if it weren't, especially for my mom, she has
Mom's
a lot of
listening
things.
right now, yeah?
Sorry?
Is mom listening? Let's...
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
We will send you the recording of our show.
But go ahead and keep
Thank
saying the
you.
nice things about mom.
Yeah. So
No,
keep saying-
really. It's not just like the ordinary thing. You say, oh, I'd like to thank my mom because I really
Because I got the
appreciate-
Oscar.
Yeah, I really appreciate her investment in my life, because first of all, going to India all by myself and living there, it gave me the independence, first of all, that I have now. And I'm really thankful for that. And really thankful for that. That's the
Thank
greatest
you,
thing that I
Sona's mom.
took-
What's her name?
Nelly.
Thank you, Nelly.
Thanks,
Hello.
Nelly.
Hello from Radio Van. Sona, have you ever come across to the other stereotype of models being away from intellectuality? You know,
Oh,
you
yes,
know what I mean.
have. And not just
And how do you
that.
deal with that?
You have long legs, beautiful. If you have like fair hair, if you're blonde, then obviously people will think that you're not intellectual enough. So I tell them, look deeper, you'll see my roots are not blonde.
This is just dyed hair. Yeah.
It just suits me.
And if you look deeper, see, look,
There's
I have a
brain,
brain.
I have brain too.
And you just open the button.
Yeah, especially if they see you like driving, or if you get down the car, they think, oh, it's a girl, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm
She
really
cannot
concerned.
park.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about that. I really, how to say, trying really hard not to fit the mold. I
Yeah,
would say
and to
it that
break
way.
those
Yeah.
stereotypes.
Yes, break those stereotypes and get them understand that, you know, we are equal, and you know, I have a brain and you have a brain too. It's not need to say like models, you know. And also there is another stereotype that if you're a model, then you're like, how to say, very available for them. You
Yeah,
can say it
yeah.
that way. That's also, well, there are girls who are quite available for the
So,
others.
Yeah,
But
because
there are
there
also
is
people. It's everywhere,
Yeah,
not
it's
just
everywhere. You
modeling.
don't have
It's
to be a model to
everywhere.
be like that.
Yeah, it's just everywhere. It's it's in your personality. Either you are that way or you're not, and you always get to choose the path you wanna go.
Yeah,
to.
totally.
Okay, so Sona is not like that, okay? Stop asking for her phone number.
She's ready. She's ready to build, right?
If you want to watch her modeling, then just follow her schedule, but not more than this. So you learned English in India.
Yeah.
This is one really amazing thing. If
Yeah.
you want to learn English, go to India.
Is this a special school
Yeah.
that we're teaching English, or is this like
no.
part of the regular curriculum over there?
Yes, it was just a regular school over there. It's just that the syllabus was entirely in English. Yeah, and that's a whole other experience that I ended up with. Like, when you're over there and you have teachers who are Indians, and they're really perfect in English, and their English is like British English, but they have this very strong.
Hinglish.
Yes, they,
They
have
have
this
an accent,
very
right? Yeah,
strong
like-
accent. And when you're in that, you know, hotspot, you don't really realize, you know, what accent you're getting. And when you come here, this was like another shock. I came back to Armenia, and our manager from our school calls me and, hello Sona, how are you doing? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And he was like the coolest. He had like the coolest accent for us. We compared it to American, and oh my gosh, is this what I have right now? I didn't realize it. And then luckily, lucky enough for me, there was this opportunity to work in a company where I could, which provided me opportunity to attend extended courses in American University.
Oh, very cool.
And like my accent completely changed, and I'm really thankful for that.
So you don't have that Indian accent
That
anymore.
Indian
No more.
hopefully not. Hopefully not. Actually, at the first days when I was going to American University, it was like, I know British English with Indian accent, and I'm trying to talk American. This was like a whole pish pash. We call it in English. It's pish pash. It's like a mess, like Sheila in Armenian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Did you
what
do
is
much
your?
Wait, I'm curious. Did
Yeah,
you get
go
to do
ahead.
much traveling when you were in India? Because you
If
mentioned you didn't see any elephants in the city, but did you happen to go out into the other regions? Or
Yes, we did happen to go to other regions, but if there were like special occasions, we had like strict programs, and everything was like scheduled for us. So we were not allowed to, you know, go our own way, and wherever we went, we would have our securities with us. So like to Taj Mahal. And
She was like a
unfortunately,
president there.
I feel like
she
a
had
princess.
guards.
Yeah, exactly.
She had securities. She had servants. What else?
it may sound cool, but when you're in that condition, and especially if you're a teenager, you feel kind of very awkward that you always have securities following you, and especially when you're going shopping and you go to underwear store, it becomes really awkward, and there's an Indian guy following you.
Really? So at every moment, there's a guy just standing right next to you.
But could you go to the toilet at least alone?
Well, this is actually, I'm talking about outside the premises.
Yeah.
When we were inside, we just had the securities near the gates. Yeah, and also like
Confirming the underwear size.
yeah. When I was like already a senior, we not just me, the others also, we protested. We said no, we wanna have the right to go out alone. We're already grown ups and stuff. We have experience. We can handle this and all. So what our management did was like, okay. After a lot of negotiation, of course, they said, well, okay, well, you can go. But after some time, we realized that we have actual securities without their uniforms following us.
No
because
way,
because
really?
you see, there's a guy following you, and you feel really awkward. Oh my
Why,
God, this
why is this guy following me? I wish I had security.
and then you realize, you see a familiar face. Oh, that's our security. But at least that way they would keep like distance, watch you from far.
Yeah. Wow, man. Was there much of a culture shock? I mean, so you spent how long did you spend
Like
over there?
8 years.
8 years. And would you come back on a regular basis to Armenia?
Actually, we would come back for a vacation every 3 years.
Wow, it's a long
So,
time.
Yeah, it's a long time. So the
Quite
first thing was the homesick, But the first time we went.
You're on the right show.
Yeah, so tell us about that, because the
When
name
we
of our
first-
show is Homesick at Home. So
Yeah, when we first went there, all kids, and I was the oldest, 10 years old. The others, imagine, even younger. And 1 month, we were just crying, we couldn't collect ourselves, go to school and stuff. We were just crying. And it was even harder for me because the others were younger, and I had to play the role of a bigger sister.
Yeah.
And, I would just hold myself, keep myself strong, not cry in front of the others, take care of the others. And then at night, when everybody would sleep, I would go under my canopy and just cry very quietly so that others won't hear that. I think it was harder because I was not expressing myself. But then later on, it becomes usual for you, and you don't really
you
cry
get used
much.
to everything.
Yes, you get used to, especially if you're very young. You get used. You get you adapt.
Adapt.
Yeah, you adapt. So that was that was the most complicated part. But then later on, you get used to the schedule, because in Armenia you don't really go according to schedule, right?
There's a schedule in Armenia, right?
There's no.
Yeah.
There's no, yeah.
There is no schedule in Armenia.
But over there, you have to wake up like really very early, go for PT, that's morning exercise, and then take your showers and all, go for studies, do your homeworks and stuff, and then go for your breakfast like really very early, and you have to be at school at 8:20 or 30. I've already forgotten about that. So whenever we would come to Armenia for a vacation, what we would do is sleep entire
And
day.
eat, I think.
Eat, yeah.
What did you miss the most about Armenia, by the way, in India?
Except my parents.
Yeah.
Except my parents and
except
my
family.
home.
Yeah.
You may laugh at this, but even the streets, I missed like sometimes I would close my eyes and imagine myself walking, and I would do this sometimes consciously to try to remember, not to forget anything, the way that takes me to my home and stuff like this.
What about ice cream?
Ice cream. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Tell us about ice cream.
Tell us more about it.
I should say ice cream in Armenia tastes way better than in India. At least the ones that I've tried, and I've tried quite a lot of them.
It tastes better than the ice cream in America, too.
Yeah.
The ice cream here is different. I don't know what it is. Higher cream content, sugar. I'm not sure what it is, but it's
Armenian
different.
cows
Armenian cows. Yes.
Not only the air.
that eat Armenian grass that grows on Armenian land
And I love
under Armenian sky. Okay, we're getting on.
And I love that our ice cream over here is it's not like let me say, like, a grown man can walk down the street with another grown man eating ice cream cones. Like, I feel
Yeah,
like in
that's-
America, you just can't do that kind of thing. You know, they'll look at you kind of funny if you're just, like, licking ice cream cones as you walk down the street as an adult, you know? But I love how you can do that over here.
Yeah.
And
So-
what
sorry.
was your sorry.
Sorry to
Yeah,
go down
yeah.
on that
I tried to
tangent.
picture Rafi and just licking that, and then it took me somewhere else.
I
so,
enjoyed it.
so I'm coming
Enjoyed an
back
ice
to
cream
the
cone the other
studio.
day.
But I would have ice cream right now. You know why won't we do that
Oh,
after
me too.
our
Yeah,
show?
Can we
Okay.
take an extended break, like, for the next half
No,
hour?
after the show.
All right.
Sona, what was your favorite food you tried in India, and when was it? At the beginning, for instance, for me, being an exchange student in the U.S., my first impression, well, I had some things that were really weird to me at the beginning, things that I didn't like. But then I got
what was
used
weird,
to it.
Though? I'm curious. What was
I
weird?
don't know, like the sweet corn, which was really sweet,
Oh yeah, that
or
is strange.
you know, some other things that tasted differently. For instance, the tomatoes I adore. They tasted
In
like
America,
plastic.
they're bland. Yeah.
Yes, and things like that. So
Hmm.
let's go. Let's get back to Sona.
Okay, so
Were there things that you really
tomato talk.
like?
The weird ones,
Right
the
about-
weird ones, or the ones that I liked.
Both.
Okay, so there was a fruit I remember once we got down for lunch. So for lunch, what we would have were like the dishes in big containers. We would just go and like buffet, you know, and but we would also have a piece of a fruit, you know, each one of us. So once I got down and I see this brown thing, it looks like a potato. I'm like, are they
That's
like
a good
really?
start. Yeah.
Are they like really giving us a potato to eat? And then I'm like, no, how am I supposed to eat this? And I feel shy to ask.
Like an
you know.
uncooked potato. Is that
Uncooked? No, I would say cooked potato.
okay? A cooked
Yes,
potato.
a boiled
That's
one.
not so bad then.
Yeah, so I'm like pressing it. It's a bit soft, you know. If I press too hard, you know, my fingers will just go in. And I'm like, okay, I'll just wait and see what the others are doing, because there were students who were there before me. So I said, I'll just wait and see what the others are doing, and then I'll do it myself. And then I saw how they do. They cut it into half. They do this, and you know, it's brown inside too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, see, I'm too fussy, you know. I'm like, oh, is it gonna taste nice or not? I tried. It was nice. I think it was one of the cheapest fruits they had. And then there's another fruit.
What is
If-
the name of that fruit?
I can't remember. Even like recently, I remembered about that fruit, and I looked it up in the
Google.
yeah, I
search?
googled the Bible, and you know how I googled it? Brown fruit, India. This is how I googled
Soft
it.
inside.
And I got it, but I forgot the name. And then
It just wasn't a okay. Well, was it just gay people?
and then there's another fruit that, you know, it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's called jackfruit.
We lost Rafi.
I think it's
Lost
called
my answer.
jackfruit. So the tree is like really huge, and the fruits are like this huge, big. So it's not just one fruit. Imagine it's like a shell for other fruits. So you cut it open, and there are many other pieces of fruits
Like
inside.
those Russian dolls, right? Where you just kind of open
Yeah,
it and there's
yeah,
another Russian doll
exactly.
inside.
But in this case, it tastes
It's
like,
called
how should I
matryoshka.
say it? It
That's what I was
tastes
gonna say.
like toilet, you know?
Oh, God.
No, sorry, no, it doesn't taste.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we just found out that Sona knows how
How
the
it
toilet
smells.
tastes.
Yeah, right.
I'm so sorry. It doesn't taste like toilet.
This was
But it does smell like toilet. It tastes like a chewing gum, you know, a really nice chewing gum.
Like,
Now,
like
love
bubblegum
is,
chewing gum? Or,
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
chewing gum has so many flavors
yeah,
too.
like
you know?
love is
Yeah,
chewing
yeah,
gums we have.
What is that?
Those ones.
it kind of tastes like a melon. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
okay, like
exactly.
a sweet melon, yeah?
But you have to close your nose. And I recommend if you ever
Close your
happen to
nose, make a wish.
exactly. This is how you feel. Like it's your
Okay,
last wish.
Smelling like toilet, tasting like chewing gum. Visit India.
Yeah, right. The new slogan.
Yeah, visiting.
And I recommend if you ever happen to eat that fruit, just wear gloves because the smell stays on your fingers for quite a long time.
But
Okay, we will remember it before going to India, right? Rafi?
next
If
time
we
I'm in
decide. So besides your plan of going to India to learn English, do you speak Hindu?
Hindi?
Yeah.
Hindi, yes, because it was a part of our school program. Just like we have it in Armenia, like any foreigners come, they'll have to study Armenian too. So it was like a second language for us. It's also like paying respect to the country you're in. Like you really
Sure,
have,
you should speak the native language, yeah.
learn, and it's inevitable, you know.
That's why
the
Rafi is
servants-
learning Armenian, right?
Yeah.
More and more and more.
Every day. It's a couple steps forward, a couple steps back, but it's getting there.
No, I think it's only forward.
Yeah. So
Can you say something for us, for Rafi and I, right now on air? Something
Oh,
in
come on.
Hindi. Yeah,
let's do it
short.
a bit later. Like I think. Of
Okay, you'll
something and
think
I'll
of it.
tell you.
Okay.
Because
Describe that.
it just doesn't come to
Take
my
your
mind.
time. Take your time.
I'd like to hear how that fruit smells in Indian. Like the fruit that smells like toilet, you know, like
I think we should
But it
forget that.
tastes
for
like
Okay,
a
we should forget
chewing
no.
But see, I told you about the awful part. But there are also things that I loved. Very like awesome tasting fruits they have, starting from mango, like we have in Armenia.
So
tiran.
this is you all have about fruit. What about the dishes
The
and
dishes.
other
I go crazy about chicken biryani. So it's basically like
spices? Yeah.
the rice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's yellow because I think they add turmeric to it, or some.
Is it
not
saffron? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think they
there'll
use
be
saffron that much, but do
Yes,
they?
yes, they do.
Ah.
Saffron, if I'm not
The
mistaken,
yellow
I guess-
one is,
Yeah,
I
the,
think, yeah.
the yellow one.
I
yeah.
think that's
Okay.
what
And
It was
also
from
like
India.
sort of roasted chicken,
Iran.
and then mixed chicken and potato mixed with it.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes just awesome. If you ever get a chance, just try it. Especially the Kolkata one. I just recently learned that in different regions they'll have different types of biryanis,
Mm-hmm.
but in the Kolkata, the West Bengal, it tastes just awesome. Just try it.
Right.
Also puchka, there is puchka.
Puchka.
So they have
sounds
so
funny.
they have like puffs like this with finger. They'll just make a hole in it, so they'll have something like mashed potatoes, sort of. It's a mashed potatoes but mixed with something, so the color will be like greenish.
Mm-hmm.
They'll put inside, and then there's some gravy to go with it, and you just eat it. It's awesome. But usually they sell it like roadside. So those people who are selling them, now it's very common, at least in Kolkata, for people to do their jobs on the streets. So make sure the person washes their
Yeah.
hands.
Oh, do those
Rafi,
jobs.
Rafi,
Yeah,
are
those
you,
jobs.
Rafi, are you writing everything down?
I'm taking notes, yeah.
Because I think we should plan to visit in
like whenever we would go to them, we would spend a lot of money. So for that sake, they would just tolerate that. But I think they hated us because we would carry a soap and water with us and tell them,
no.
please wash your hands.
No,
before
you asked them to wash their hands
Yeah,
before
because
serving.
like imagine you see the very same person doing number one and then coming back to you to serve your food.
Please,
you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
please
do
wash
it.
your hands and comb your hair, okay? Change your clothes. What does your name mean in India?
My name it's very common in India. My name Sona,
Sona, yeah.
Sona or Sonia they'll have. So it means gold. But, usually, like our servants, they would call me Sona Chandi, like together, because Chandi means silver in Hindi. So Sona Chandi, they would just call me like
Gold,
that.
silver.
Yeah, gold, silver, and how to say? God forbid it. If anybody heard, from strangers heard my name, they don't know whose name it is, but they heard. They know there's a girl with the name of Sona, in the group. So anytime you pass by, they're gonna call Sona, 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 or Sona Chandi and stuff like that. You go really crazy. They have like this thing that I never understood. And also, there's another thing that you'll never find in India, like this is in Armenia. This is the differences. Like in Armenia, you can freely walk down the street, and people won't just come, touching you. But over there, they don't just touch like with their hands as such. although if they get a chance, they will do that necessarily. But with their elbows, they just like elbow you. I never understood what pleasure they got from you.
Like in
from that,
an aggressive way, kind of like hard elbow, or just like a rubby
depends,
elbow.
depends. Not a rubby one, just like with an elbow, they'll just like sort of push you. Especially they'll try the breast area and stuff.
Here we know what was the cultural shock now for Sona.
Totally.
Another
The
thing
sensual elbow.
and another thing is like they fall in love very easily. This is
they're so
from my own
naive.
experience, and whenever you pass by and this person has fallen in love with you, they'll sing a song.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cute. What you spoke about the differences, and what about common things with Armenians, right?
Common
Yeah.
things. They are kind. They are very generous and hospitable to people, especially to foreigners. In India, there was like a saying, like if you have a fair skin, it means you have your path already, all smooth for you.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. They're very generous, warm people, very kind. What else? Maybe the stereotypes could be.
The language.
Oh
right?
yeah, the language. They're well, Hindi.
That's what we learned for this past 5 days. you
Yeah,
know?
well, Hindi
Lot of
and Armenia, they
similarities,
come. Sorry.
There are a lot of similarities in the
Yeah, a
language.
lot of similarities, and it's also because they come from the same family group, the
Indo-European,
Indo-European,
yeah.
Indo-European family. So they will have common things. Like for example, if we say Hazar, it's Hazar in Hindi. If we say Paneer, it's Paneer
Yeah.
in Hindi.
Gazar,
We say
Gazar
Gazar,
also.
yes. And,
Apsos.
Apsos also.
The pity.
Really?
There was
Yeah.
another thing I wanted to say. Yeah, there will be like words very similar, but the meaning may be different. For example, Jabal, in Armenian it means like bold, but in Hindi it will mean slipper, a slipper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bold sleeper.
Yeah, what happened there? I don't know.
and a lot of other words. Yeah,
Very cool.
very common.
So now, how long have you been in Armenia now?
It's like over 8 years.
Over 8. Okay.
Yes,
wow.
I'm like currently doing my master's, so
Yeah,
like
tell us
only
what you're
6
up to,
years.
yeah.
Well, I have a degree. Actually, I graduated from commercial studies with commercial studies. Then I did customer service just for the extension courses, and that's when I understood like customer service and going deep into that was mine. And then later on, I got a job in a tourism agency where I fell in love with that job and that field, and I said I'm going to pursue my education in this field. And I got translation and international tourism bachelor's. Currently, I'm doing service management, hospitality service management.
Rafi, our
For Am-
entire group of Indians that
Yeah.
we hosted for this past 6 days knows Armenian history by heart because Sona
Because
was
of
there.
Sona, yeah.
She told them
John's
everything.
proud.
I just hope I didn't bore them much, because I don't know, when I came back to Armenia, there was so much of love in me, for my country. I really love this job, like being the ambassador of my country, trying to present it the best way possible to the foreigners that come, and sort of make them look through my eyes.
Huh.
This is
That's
how
interesting. Yeah, before you came, Ina was saying that you have this great passion for Armenia and you share it with others,
I
And so
try to.
I was wondering, where do you think this feeling comes from? This idea that you want to kind of like share it with everybody. This pride, I guess.
Let me put it this way, like despite all the how to say discouragement that I got since I came back to Armenia, now I really love my country and want to have my own investment in the development of this country. So when I came back, I was so excited. I'm going to do this program, and And the first thing, it was like just like a whoa for me, was like there were elections going on in Armenia, and one party after another. Since I live in a city center, they would come like, oh, we have this offer for you, you're interested, and they'll find, this is a person who's come from abroad, so we can play on the patriotism side, the emotional part and all. So when I would show them my programs, this is what I want to do. For example, I want to, with my own laptops, I want to go to the regions, teach these students, how to work on computers and all. You just have to provide me the transportation and all. Let the elections be over, then we'll do it and stuff. And whenever I would go try to say, remember me, Sona? Oh, the person from the city center. I was so fed up, but I'm like, okay, so the government is not gonna do anything. Let me do whatever I can to have everything that I needed when I was a child. But I didn't have it here, so I had to go abroad and be homesick for a very long time. I don't want my children also to face that. So I said, okay, I'm gonna have my own investment here, so that I won't send my children abroad. They'll stay in their homeland and get everything they need.
Nice. Very nice.
Do you feel homesick for India sometimes?
Like for the recent days, yes, I did. It was a lot of nostalgia. Yeah, I consider India my second homeland. So
that's why you're here.
Yeah, like most of my conscious life,
you spend 8 years there.
Yeah, and that's like my conscious part, the conscious part of my life, and very important part, part when I was just forming and becoming an individual. And a lot of times, like people, when they're like, "Oh, you're from India," they don't think like you're from India. They just think that if you're from India, you can't be advanced. So they think Armenia is way more advanced. But the thing is that the kind of mentoring that I got over there was like we were actually cut out from the actual Indians. So we had no much interactions with the Indians except for the servants and the
What about your classmates? Were they Indians?
only Armenians from all over the world. If you're Armenian anywhere in the world, you wish to go to that
So you
college
were
and
diaspora
study.
there.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can
Is
go
there an age
and
limit, or
study.
can I go?
Age limit?
I'm too
well,
old, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, you're too old.
So I think maybe you would
Yeah.
like to go back and experience India in this age, because this would be a
Yes.
different
Yeah,
experience.
it would be a
Yeah,
whole new,
totally.
a whole new experience, and I would rediscover India for myself, because being there for this long, I haven't seen much. I realized that I haven't seen much. So going there for just a month won't be enough for me. So I'm like planning, if I go to India in the coming years, I'll have to take like 6 months to see India, to really experience in India as it is, and also the surrounding countries as well.
Yeah.
What about your favorite place here in Armenia?
My favorite place, my
Being
home.
a guide.
Oh, being a guide.
Well, I mean, just in Armenia, any place, any site that you love the most. Maybe you get some energy from there, or anything else.
It's really hard for me to answer, because with each sightseeing, especially like the churches and all, I have like different connection. So it's really hard for me just to choose one. But the favorite place here would be my house. My home, not house, my home, my sweet home, and I'm with my parents and
Good answer.
family.
Which the tourists don't go and see. I'm sure
Yeah, but
that's different
like
kind of
in Armenia, we
Nalbanjan
have,
Street it is, right?
sorry.
Nalbanjan Street, right?
Yeah. So in Armenia, there's a saying. They say, "Child is the mirror of the family." They can get a picture of my family, by just interacting with me.
Your family is beautiful. I can tell.
Well, they're all
Thank
little,
you.
sorry. So I know
Thank
that we're
you.
going to be finishing very soon, yeah? Like,
we had a little extra time because
we? Okay,
Sona
good.
was late. So
I don't mind.
this doesn't happen very often, but today, especially for you,
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
for
you.
only $9.99.
3 easy payments.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rafijan.
Well, I was curious. I mean, you're working on these. You have these different projects here thinking about, or you've started some. Do you have any any things that you've already accomplished and that you're working on right now?
I'm working on. I haven't. I can't take pride in any project that I have written myself and also accomplished. I'm working on one. I'm working on opening my own NGO so that I can realize all the projects that I'm thinking of. So it will mostly be, to the regions, because I find the people living in the rural areas, in the regions, they are the most vulnerable. So, and they don't have access to much of the advancement that we have in Yerevan. So that would be my first concern. The other one is I'm trying to, but I'm working on my thesis. That's why I don't get much time. But I'm trying to work with the Women's Resources Center here, and trying to have my own investment in spreading awareness among ladies and girls around Armenia, about their rights, and also educating them somehow. These are like my major concerns, because I find they are the most vulnerable sectors in Armenia.
If you had an Indian name, what would it be?
Indian name? Yes. An Indian name?
We know now what...
I think it would be Sona.
Sona answer is not accepted.
Other than Sona.
Like a very typical Indian name, maybe.
Oof.
Oof.
That's a good question.
That's a good question, because
a nice name. Oof. We have oof in our studio.
I kind of have never thought about that. Let me just think. Can we pass on to another question while I...
But we still have reserved that other answer that you were supposed to say.
Something in Hindi.
Yeah.
I can say one. The most common one that everybody asks. Like, how do I say I love you in Hindi?
I know that.
By the way, it's not Indian. The language is called Hindi, and in India, people not everyone will necessarily speak the language. This is just their official language. Mm-hmm. So they'll have over 25 languages.
Wow.
Now they're like sort of dialects, but they're so strong that they differ from each other. And one, carrier of one language, in this case, I'll say, may not understand at all.
Yeah, we have such people in group. They wouldn't understand each other. They spoke in English.
Yeah, and like in Armenia, some of the people that learn that I'm from, I've been to India. I know this person who's from India. Call this person and you can talk with her, in your language, because she understands. And this person says something and I really don't understand. I'm like, I'm sorry. From where are you? It's like I'm from Tamil Nadu, and he speaks Tamil, and I'm speaking Hindi, just Hindi, and we really don't understand each other. And so
your
I love you.
in Indian.
I love you. In Hindi would be मैं तुमसे प्यार करती हूँ.
Thank you.
That मैं would be I, तुमसे you. Like to you, sort of.
Okay.
And pyar is the love. Karti hu, I'm in love with you. This is how it.
This is the construction.
Thank you.
Yeah.
that was a confession.
Yeah.
Sona, do you have any phobias?
Phobias.
No one's going to escape the studio without answering that question.
We have to know the weak sides of
I
our
do have I do have sort of fears, but to call them phobia, I don't know if I could call them phobia.
Snakes.
But first one, it's not phobia. It's just that I hate insects. I feel so disgusted. And whenever I see, you'll see. If I see a spider now, I'll just jump.
Do you yell?
Yell? Yes, I do.
That's a phobia. Write that down.
So my friends say, God forbid if you ever see like a spider, on your on the foreglass of your car, you're gonna just we can't stop it or create an accident. So far, I haven't had that chance. So hopefully I'll never have. Yeah, but the insects.
We will pray for you to all Indian gods.
Oh, please do that.
So, you're doing these projects, and you're also working professionally at a store. Which store is it now?
Store. It's
Yeah.
actually casual dining.
Uh-huh.
So it's a Canadian franchise in Armenia, actually just in Yerevan. Hopefully we'll open more stores soon. Casual dining called Dip and Dip.
Mm-hmm.
And I call it the small heaven for chocolate lovers in Yerevan, because
Good salesperson right there. Yeah.
And the hell for people who are trying to lose weight.
Not really hell. hell after you come walk out the door. But when you're there, you just can't resist the temptation, because if you really appreciate and value good quality chocolate, then that's the place for you. Like Belgian chocolate, what more you can ask for?
Mm-hmm. Where is this Dip and Dip?
On Tumanyan Street, right opposite to the Swan Lake.
It's like close
Like-
to the
yeah,
Northern
yeah.
Ireland.
I know.
Yeah, Northern Avenue, like
see it.
Terian and Tumanyan intersection.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll be very glad to host you there.
Awesome.
Okay,
I love eating.
We'll come. I love chocolate.
So is it only chocolate that's in there, or I mean I've never been in the store before. What is it?
Oh well, it's anything that you can
Sweets,
think.
yeah, or-
Yes, basically sweets.
It's
like
a cafe.
anything- Yes,
Cafe,
a
yeah.
casual dining, and anything that is related to chocolate. So we'll have waffles, we'll have pancakes, we'll have crepes, and a lot of types.
Yeah,
a variety
there's
of them.
plenty of stuff. You
Yes.
spend like 10 minutes reading the menu.
Yeah, and by the way, it's
And
not
drooling,
because.
just,
Yeah, and it's very hard to choose which one you want.
Yeah,
and also there are
that's
drinks
what I
and
have.
stuff. You just have to visit. I can't tell everything now. It would be like a real spoiler.
yeah. Okay.
It's really very hard to choose and stuff. And I'll say that our menu is one of the best that I've seen. Not because I work there,
Of
but
course not. That's
Yeah,
No,
of course.
really.
And this
Menu-
is not
I
an
mean-
advertisement.
I mean, just the physical menu. You see, just the papers and the style.
the presentation.
Yeah, the
aesthetic.
presentation.
Right.
It's really nice because you get a picture, you get an understanding before you order. You know what to expect for. And sometimes, for example, if on a picture we have for a cappuccino or Americana, we have a heart, on the foam, and they order, and our barman doesn't make it, they'll return it. We want with the heart. So we give everything as it is on the pictures.
Sona, let's jump to desserts to desert. What would you take to a deserted island with you?
A deserted island with me?
Or who?
Who?
Who or
You
what?
can choose both.
Yeah.
Oh, both. Oh, that's good. Good. What would I take? Take to save, or to save that person or thing, or to save myself?
It's up to you.
It's
Or
up to,
I think I
for
can't go-
yourself.
I think I can't go without my cats.
how many cats are you taking with you?
Well, actually, I just have two. One is cat, and the other is on the way to become a cat. Newly
Okay,
born.
I get it.
By the way, tomorrow is just 1 month that the cat is born.
Happy
Kitty
birthday.
is born. The cat and what else? Chocolate.
Okay.
I can't do that.
She would rob Dip and Dip.
Sorry.
You would rob them, right?
Yeah, and just the dark part, dark chocolate. I love dark chocolate.
And what is your favorite book?
Book. My favorite
If you have
writer. My favorite writer is Jane Austen. So all of her books would be my favorite books.
Can't you pick
You
one?
can't pick one. Yeah,
Pick
that's
one. Pride and Prejudice. A classic.
Nice.
Okay.
I think I've seen the trailer to the movie, so I know
Yeah.
what it's about. Yeah.
I've read it. I think maybe 6 times.
And one more question before we leave. Rafijan.
Oh, no pressure, huh? The very last question I have to come up with. Yeah.
Okay, maybe 2 more.
Okay, 2 more. Okay, good.
I'm not short of time, so
Unfortunately, we have a schedule. We have to stop
We
eventually.
cannot do this on air. So much.
it's just very pleasant here.
Time
pleasant
is money.
atmosphere,
Yeah, I know. Then time flies here really fast.
So I guess I'm curious. So other than Dip and Dip, you're also doing modeling, yeah?
Yeah.
And are you currently doing modeling work, or how does that work for you?
It's actually always been like a hobby for me. Now, like for example, my sisters, and especially one of my sisters, is more like professional, like a career for her. So she'll go for different contests to different countries, but it's more like hobby for me, the modeling. I'm more into translation and guide and stuff.
I see.
Pursuing my career, I see myself only in hospitality and management. That's it.
I'm still curious about the modeling though. Like, have you done for international companies or just companies here in Armenia? Armani.
Armani, yeah.
And which was your favorite?
Armani, Arseni, Vazgeni.
Took me a second.
Which one's my favorite? My favorite is Ralph Lauren. I just kind of like, the stuff they have. And
Do you
maybe
like it or you wear it also?
I do wear it and I like it too. So there are things that we won't have in the stores here, so I'll just order from their site directly. And it's more convenient to order from their site because in Armenia you get like 10 times more expensive than its actual
true.
price.
Let's end with a funny question. On a positive note, if you were an article of clothing, which one would you be?
Right.
If I were what?
If you were some clothing, which would you be? A hat? I don't know.
Yeah,
a
if
shirt?
you were
If I
an
were
art-
a cloth.
Yeah, if you were a piece of clothing, which one would it be and why?
That would be a scarf, I think.
Okay.
Why?
Well, scarf is like the most convenient one. So you can, when you carry a scarf, the way you carry the scarf, can change your entire style. And also, if you're short of any clothes, for example, you don't know what blouse to wear, you can just turn it into a blouse. Very
So
easy. And also
the
a skirt,
scarf
why not?
Goes along with everything.
I was gonna say,
Yes.
yeah, it goes along with everything, and it's adaptable. Like
That's
this
a
girl
smart,
who's
that's
been
a
in
smart answer. Well, Sona, thanks for being with us in our studio tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. We had fun here, discovering a little bit of India here.
Yeah, it was great talking with you. Thanks very much for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you too for hosting me here, and it was a great experience for me. And hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Eating
And
chocolate.
we will send you the recording of our show so you can show it to your mom.
Please do that.
This was Homesick at Home on Radio Van 103.1, our English-speaking show, which is on every Friday from 9 to 10 p.m. And have a good Friday night and amazing weekend. Bye-bye.